We are halfway through November podcast post month, and we're just going to keep it going for another 15 days, plus a couple bonus days. Welcome to the Spotlight. I am Ben Beck on this day 16 of NaPodPoMo, as they call it. And Tyler Labine, man, I can't think of a better person to kick off the second half of this month with. I've been a huge fan of Tyler's for a while. Television shows like Reaper, Tyler and Tucker and Dale versus Evil is a great movie that I absolutely love. So when I got the opportunity to talk to him for New Amsterdam, I jumped at the opportunity, and I'm so glad that I did. He was a great guest, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Here it is, day 16 of National Podcast Post Month on the Spotlight with Tyler Labine. My guest joining me this time in the Spotlight is an actor who you would know from past series such as Deadbeat, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and the Netflix series Voltron, and movies such as the recent Super Troopers 2, and of course, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. But now you can catch him every week as Dr. Iggy Fromm in NBC's new series, New Amsterdam. I'm very excited to welcome Tyler Labine to the program. Tyler, thanks so much for spending some time with me.
Of course. My pleasure, man.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, going back to series like Invasion and Reaper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to talk to you about New Amsterdam because I'm caught up on both episodes that have aired so far. I'm absolutely loving the show. But before we get into that, I'm hoping you don't mind. I would be remiss if I didn't touch base on some of my other projects that I loved about you, if only just for a couple minutes.
Sure, man. No, I love talking about the good old days.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, starting first, as I mentioned, I've been a fan of yours for a while. I want to start with Deadbeat because if I remember correctly, we live in an age now where Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, they all have their own original programming. But I think Deadbeat was kind of on the cusp of that. It's one of the first originals I remember having.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, man. I remember, just to even put it into perspective for you, at the time when I was doing our first press junket for the show, I had to explain to people, to the media what new media shows were.
Yeah. And
all the questions were like, so what's the difference? What is it? How does network compare to new media? And what's this whole cutting the cord? It was like I was some weird circus freak in the corner, and everyone just had to come and touch me.
Yeah.
So it certainly wasn't unheard of, but it was pretty new still. It was this new wave, and I'd see other actors. I remember I was at a party, and I'm not saying this to name drop. I just think it's really funny. Topher Grace was like, "Hey man, you're on that Hulu show, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, what's that like?" I got approached by Crackle to do something. I don't know, man. It seems kind of like a dead end to me. And I was like, whoa. And we had this really long talk about the wave of new media and the longevity of it. And so yeah, it was at the beginning. It was sort of at the beginning of that movement.
Yeah, the show ran for 3 series on Hulu, and then it got wrapped up. Mm-hmm. Were there ever any ideas for a 4th season if it ever came back?
Yeah, we thought we did have a 4th season. The cancellation of it was really, it kind of came out of nowhere. Because like you said, we were sort of Hulu really hung their hat on Deadbeat, sort of establishing them as an originals, destination.
Yeah.
They plugged the hell out of that show, and honestly, it's the most visible I've ever been as an actor. They were just plaster that shit everywhere, and it was crazy. And then, they did really well. We were their number 1 show across the platform for season 1 and 2. And then they gave us season 3. They decided to this is something I'd love to talk about. They decided to totally reboot the show in season 3. And nobody really knew why. They literally fired everybody off the show except for me and Brad Williams. And they added Cal Penn. And they were like, "You're gonna have a sidekick now, and it's gonna be this totally. You guys are gonna live together." And it was. They wanted to stop serializing it so heavily, and they wanted it to be really a case of the week kind of thing. And it just sort of, it was really kind of surprising. But they were like, "We really just think this is gonna send the show into the next sort of level of, or just set it on its true trajectory or whatever."
Yeah.
And we couldn't have disagreed more. Like Brett Conner and Cody Heller, our creators, were just like, what, and no explanation for the fans, like why all of a sudden Chamomile White is gone and why all this, and it just it was weird, but they were so gung ho on it, and then I think if that season 3 was like a standalone or was the only season we did, I'm like, that's a great season of TV. It was really funny. Cal Penn was like my favorite guy to work with ever. Just was a different show.
Yeah.
So we didn't know. Season 3 was great, but they were so into it, and they were like, "Oh, it's really killing." And then we didn't hear anything about a season 4 for a while, but we're being given sort of the hints that they should start really formulating the breaking the story for season 4, and then they just dropped it out of nowhere, and it was really weird.
Yeah, and it was kind of
unfortunately in this business, you don't get any explanations. No one,
Yeah.
No one owes you anything, so you just have to move on.
And it was a bummer, too, because it was one of those shows that I really enjoyed. And, it was one of those shows that you could kind of get away with anything. And you guys made that very clear
like a cartoon.
in the writing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was like a cartoon. And Brett Conner and Cody Heller, the writers, are like, especially Brett Conner, is just like he's a wordplay genius. That's what it's like talking. If you even get a chance to ever talk to him, it's like talking to a Rubik's cube. He's just like constantly trying to line things up and like everything's a callback. And I don't know. I find that if you go back and watch Deadbeat again, you really notice all the really clever sort of wordplay. And like you said, you can do anything. It was like a live action cartoon.
Yeah,
we could literally drop an anvil on people's heads, and it was like, we still,
exactly.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I know one of the things that led me to Deadbeat, obviously, was seeing the trailers on Hulu and noticing you as an actor. I was one of the things that really made me want to watch it. But the main reason why I recognized you more as an actor, I mean, like I said, I had seen you in other things before, but you really came to the forefront of my mind because of Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, cool.
That was a movie that, to me, like, I found it brilliant because it was a movie that really flipped horror on its head. And that was kind of where the brilliance lied in that movie.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. I mean, that's the whole crux of that movie, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, has there been any talk of a sequel at all, or is it kind of something that's in limbo at this point?
I mean, there's been much talk of many iterations of Tucker and Dale to... from a movie to a series to, a limited order series to, like shorts. Like, we've talked about everything. And there have been moments where it's been on a production slate, with companies and our producers. In 2015, we're announcing, we want you and Alan to announce that we're making a sequel, and we had the script being written, and then there's just, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there was a lot of sort of tumult and sort of miscommunication and mishandling of the intellectual property between the writers and our producers. And it just all kind of kept coming to the same sort of dead end, which was like, nobody could come to sort of terms with what we wanted to make.
Yeah.
And how it was going to get made, and who was going to get sort of compensated in what way, and it just got weird a few times, and then it got really beautiful again, and everyone started talking about it again, and we'd come back around to it every year or two, and so it just, there is still love and compassion and a drive to make something, especially from Eli, Allen, and myself, because we fucking love those characters, and we love the movie, and we made that movie on a wing and a prayer, man. We didn't know. We just went to Calgary and shot this crazy fucking thing, and it turned into this. And so we have no financial gain, nothing to gain from it like that. We just want to make a cool sequel. And then the problem is that other people want to make money off it, So it's like, how do you reconcile the two sort of goals and drives to make this movie? And so far, just been a bust.
Yeah, that's a shame too, because it's such a wonderful film, and it's a perennial for me that it's something I watch every year, especially around this time, like for Halloween and such, when I'm into like different horror movies.
And then I'll say one last thing is that we are in the middle of working on something right now with the Tucker and Dale IP. So I will never say that nothing is happening, but me, Alan, Eli, and Morgan Jurgensen are actually working on something right now.
Oh, perfect.
And that's all I can say. But these are being plotted. We'll see.
Well, I look forward to hearing whatever it is when it actually comes to fruition and it comes to public. So.
Me too, man.
Let's talk New Amsterdam, because there's a lot I want to get to about. Again, I'm caught up with the show. I absolutely adore the show so far, and it's weird for me to say that, and I'll explain. I'm very selective. There's so much stuff out there now between Netflix and Hulu and everything that I'm very selective in new shows that I choose when new shows arise. Mm-hmm. I watch trailers and and medical dramas very rarely make the cut for me, because you've seen one, you've seen them all. But this one is different. Like I watched the NBC the fall premiere show, and I saw the extended premiere for this, and I knew by the end of it I wanted to watch it, and I'm not regretting that decision at all. This is I'm so hooked on this show.
Sorry, go ahead and you finish.
No, and I'm going to let you go because it's.
Well, it's funny. It's obviously I'm a viewer of TV as well. I shouldn't say this, but I don't even have cable. I
don't either. It's okay.
Yeah, I have a free lifetime membership to Hulu. That was one of the perks of being on a Hulu show. Even though they keep canceling it on me. I don't know what that's about. But Hulu, if you're listening, step up, man. And then I have the usual. I have Netflix and HBO, and I have a couple other movie platforms and whatnot. But I'm really picky too, man. I'm going to be honest. When I it's not like I'm wading through a pool of offers every pilot season, but when they came down the pipe with the medical drama, for me, it was one of the first things that came, to me last pilot season. I didn't even read it. I just said, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be on a medical drama. It's like, usually it's like an actor's final resting place,
Yeah.
You go there, you get stuck in a procedural medical drama thing, and it's an ensemble, and you have like a little moment each week. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to fucking be on a show like that. And my agents were like, just shut up and read this one. You just got to read it. And immediately from the get-go, I was like, oh, why is this why do I like this? Why this is so great, And I love the character development and an ensemble where everyone kind of gets a voice, and it's dealing with real issues. And my mom was in the mental health care industry for a long time. My dad was in the medical industry. I have children. I think mental health care and mental health issues for children is like one of the most important and overlooked things in the industry. Dealing with, it's all based on real life experience and memoirs from Dr. Eric Mannheimer. So truth is stranger than fiction. A lot of these things, like a Haitian magic ritual in the OR.
Yeah,
from last night's episode. Yeah. People are probably going, that happened. That really happened. Firing the entire cardiothoracic department on the first day of the job. Dr. Eric Mannheimer did that. He actually went into his first day on the job and fired 50 surgeons. That's real. So when people come at us saying, oh, come on, it's so dramatic and it's so TV, it's like, well, actually, this is not. This really happened. So, we can stand strong on that. I feel like that really made me, I don't know, sit up, perked up my ears a little bit, and I just think it's the type of show that is very slowly going to defy what people think they're getting into.
Yeah,
I know, because we're on episode 7 now, and it's like, well, you can't just come out of the gates being like, on network TV, being like, we're different, we're this, we're that. We still have to contend with, advertisers, and we have all the network TV trappings still. but NBC is genuinely taking a swing with this one, and they're letting us slowly, but like without shocking people and without ruining 100-year-old relationships with advertisers, we're slowly changing what you can sort of expect to see on network TV. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I know it's a different network, but one of the last medical dramas I was hooked into was House MD, which, you know, was, like I said, a different network. But I think one of the things that I can kind of compare the two of you together, and one of the reasons why I'm loving New Amsterdam so much, is it's a show that's not, while yes, the medical procedures and everything that's happening are a big part of the show itself is very character driven. And and that's one of the reasons why I'm really into it, is because and your character in particular of Iggy, it's a role that, you know, I've mentioned some of the things you've done in the past, and this is definitely, at least in my opinion, a departure from roles I've seen you do. And when I'm a fan of an actor or an actress, I love seeing them make that departure because it shows their range. And this is something we're definitely seeing with you when it comes to playing Iggy.
Yeah, I just have to take a moment here to say yes. You know, I've wanted to change my sort of people's perception of me in this industry for a while, and you know, in order to grow as an actor and a performer, like you can't just stay doing the same thing and spinning your wheels. It just gets to the point where if people call you a one-trick pony, you really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been trying to but it's also hard because I got to pay the bills and I have children, and you got to take the work that you can that's available. But in the last couple of years, between like Dirk Gently and this, and I made a couple really great indie films I was really reaching for things that were very different for me. In fact, I have a movie called Broken Star with Annalie Tipton that just came out last month, or the month before too. It's like, if you get a chance to see that, it's a weird movie, but you'll see. It's like I'm very obviously trying to stretch and grow, and I wanted this show to be of sort of a very, very much so a departure, but it also is like it's a nice segue. It's not like this shocking, like, oh my God, I'm not like, I'm not playing some supervillain or, it's like there's still some humor in there, but I'm really getting to play a grown up. It doesn't hurt that my entire head of hair and facial hair has turned white in the last 2 years too. That sort of just happened. I had a third kid and my body went, okay, you're old now. But it's been really cool. Like, I'm learning, and that's the greatest reward and gift as an actor that you can ever have. Like, the key to longevity, it's not gaining fame or money or anything. It's like, man, if I can just keep learning and growing as a performer, like, that's all I ever want. And this show is giving me an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to keep learning while I'm doing the show, and hopefully it'll translate on camera. I might make some mistakes along the way. Probably will. We'll see.
That's all right. I mean,
I'm trying.
Yeah, I think everybody has at some point. But I mean, you're doing a great job at breaking that typecast of characters that you've played before with this one, and your character has quickly become one of my favorites because while all these other doctors on the show, are dealing with surgical procedures and physical ailments and things like that, your character is dealing with something completely different, in the form of child psychology. Yeah. And in return, your character is bringing so much heart into the show because of the fact that it seems like that's where he's working from, is he's working more from the heart rather than from the mind. He really wants to reach out and help these kids. It's so far that we've seen out of the show, and again, I just feel that brings so much heart to the show.
Yeah, I agree, man, and I think it's it's really a joy for me having this sort of separate ward myself, the psychology ward, because there's all these little shenanigans that I can get into on my own, and it is. I think it's a much needed sort of I don't know, like a reprieve, I guess, when you're really stuck in some of the more let's say gory parts of the show, or like with the surgeries and that stuff is really mega exciting and everything. But then I think you kind of, as far as like the show like plot device goes, it's nice to have this other area, which is, like you said, completely character driven. Heart, being the major component of it, and it also let's not kid ourselves. There are very quirky and interesting and often humorous and touching things that go on in the mental health care world, and with mental illness. It's like, I don't know, it's without being sort of, gauche about it. It's like, it's wildly entertaining. And, I'm hoping that people are learning some stuff from watching these things, with last night's episode with over-medication. That is such a real and prevalent problem.
Yeah, and
mental health industry,
it was something I had no idea about as well. So going into that whole learning something as you're watching the show, I did that last night absolutely, and seeing the hospital take the state to court or take the school board to court, that's something you never see in any other medical procedural.
No,
so,
and people don't even know that that's real. Bellevue Hospital, which is our hospital is based on, inspired by, has a full legislative floor with a courtroom, and there's they have a school in there. They have a prison. The psych ward has 500 beds. It's 21 floors, and each floor is an acre, and it's like its own world. It's like its own city.
Yeah.
And they did that. They were the first hospital to ever put a courtroom in to advocate for the patients in real time. We got to drop that little truth bomb into the show last night. And we're like, what? A court in the hospital? That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So,
that's really cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I'm running short on time with you. So I have one last question for you, and it's kind of a departure from everything else. All the interviews you've done over your career, I'm sure you've been asked the same questions over and over again. So,
this is the best one I've ever done.
This last question I have for you is, what's the one question you always wished someone would ask you, but they never have? It might be a thinker.
Probably that question right there.
All right, that's a good answer.
Let's see. What's the one question I wish I could ask, but never get asked? Let me think for one sec.
Yeah, I throw that one out there as kind of like an instinct question.
No, it's good. I think every actor likes to talk about themselves and their process, but I think one thing I would love to talk about that I never really get to talk about is the etiquette of being on set, and the sort of technical aspect of things is really the craft basically is a huge thing to me. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I feel like I've gone out of my way to ask every question and be a sponge, and I've shadowed directors, and I've produced, and I've co-directed, and I've written. I've done every facet of this industry, and I look at that as an invaluable tool. My technical savvy and my etiquette and just work ethic on set, and I feel like I'm watching a whole new generation of actors that just don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Especially in the YouTube era, and it's like fame is everything and all this. And I'm not saying this for every young actor. So obviously there are great young actors out there, but I feel like, I have a lot to give in that regard. I feel like I wish kids cared more. I wish someone would, more than just give me a question, would give me a seminar where I could just take all these kids and just teach them the importance of.
Well, that just gives me a reason to have you back on down the road, and we'll just do it. A Tyler Labine Art of the Craft kind of episode.
Yeah, we'll do a standalone, kicking it with Labine.
Yeah, there we
seminar.
Go. There we go.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, I know I want to send people your way on social media. They can follow you on Twitter at Ty Labine, Ty Labine, Instagram at T Labine. They can follow New Amsterdam on Twitter at NBC New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam, Tuesday nights, 10/9 Central on NBC. And I highly recommend everybody check it out. Tyler, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
And let me just say one thing.
Sure.
I'm trying to get the hashtag Kapiggy. Kapoor and Iggy. I want that to start trending. Kapiggy. Kapiggy.
This is the new ship for the show.
That's the ship for the show. It's me and NaPodPoMo sure have an argument. I like Kapiggy. He likes Kapoogie because it's more letters of his name than mine. But I think Kapiggy is better. But anyway, yeah. If you can get that trending.
We'll get that.
Be awesome.
Yeah, we'll try and get that trending as well. Tyler, thanks so much again for spending some time.
Of course, my pleasure, man.
Until next time, we'll see you guys in the spotlight. Take care.